Silver is on the brink of extinction. Shanghai silver vaults tumbled by 35 tons this week. They have not been this low since January of 2016, which industrial demand has tripled since then. I expect the next 3 years will go down in history as the largest silver pump that has ever took place. Alright folks, I put together a great video for you all today. Grab some popcorn. I really think you're going to enjoy this one. I'm bringing together some data points, some evidence, some information, showcasing how much potential, how much opportunity silver truly has in just the next few years. Some people are very bullish on silver, but some people aren't so bullish. Regardless, there's a couple facts, some data points, some information in this video that you cannot deny, right? You cannot deny these numbers. Now, there's some very important things we're going to be covering, some very alarming things, but it's all relevant. So this first article, we expect silver to outperform any asset over the next 2 to 3 years. Run for your life from First Majestic Silver. The second article, India's gold and silver import surge from UAE sparks economic concerns. So both are relevant to the diminishing supply of silver, how it is literally vanishing and it will become extinct at some point, a lot sooner than I feel a lot of people are thinking, even some of these miners. Now, speaking of silver miners, of course, they're mentioning First Majestic Silver and how they have plummeted, which is pretty sad because Keith Neumeyer is the CEO of First Majestic Silver. I love Keith Neumeyer. He's been one of the biggest advocates exposing the silver shortage or the reality of it, while other people try to still cover it up. He's been very public. But, regardless, it is what it is. If it's down, if First Majestic is down 38% while silver's up 65% since 2020, that's just a fact, right? So yeah, anyways, folks, if you wanted to still purchase silver while it's cheap, you could email me, slayer@mousefranklin.com, or call me 330-485-6172 and I will get you hooked up. So the first key takeaway from this article is that silver is on the brink of extinction. That word is not to be used loosely. We quite literally are running out of silver. In the last 3 years alone, we're over 500 million ounces in the red. 500 million ounces. Remember, demand has tripled in just the last few years alone. Like right here, we have not seen Shanghai silver vaults this low since January of 2016. Industrial demand has tripled since then and is only going to keep growing while production is falling dramatically. So they say that the Shanghai silver vaults tumbled by 35 tons to 699 tons, or only 22.75 million ounces. And I say only 22.75 million ounces because if you think about a annual demand of 1.2 billion ounces, but silver vaults in Shanghai only have 22 million ounces, it puts into perspective the situation we're facing. And these numbers are only going to go up. 1.21 billion ounces this year, but they're predicting it'll be 1.4 billion ounces next year. Hundreds of millions of ounces in the red we're talking about. So here's the chart they go over. I expect the next 3 years will go down in history as the largest silver pump that's ever taken place. Which, it's interesting they say the next 3 years. First, they go over what happened with the Hunt brothers, obviously pushing the price to $50. They mention the bricks pumping silver, and they see this huge chart of, what we're talking about, much higher than 50. We're talking about triple digits. Now, I've always mentioned when I say silver is going to quote unquote explode, and when I say explode, I mean triple digits or more. Some people say it could reach 100, some people say it could reach 1,000. I'm just generally speaking, let's say $100 or more, double of what its all-time high has been. I've always said I think this will happen by the year 2025, 2026. And I've said that for years now. It's not like I just started saying that, a couple months ago or last year even. I've been calling for those 2 years for a long time now, since probably 2019. And that is because in 2019, I really started getting into the silver shortage. a lot from Ted Butler, which recently passed away. Actually, last week he did. But as soon as I found out about the reality of the silver shortage and COMEX corruption, I started putting together a timeline, and it all was looking towards those 2 years, like late 2025, early 2026. It could be a lot sooner with all the unknown variables getting thrown in with the election, or in November, or the huge BRICS meeting in October, right? October and November are going to be crazy months. You have the huge BRICS meeting in October with like 150 different countries all coming together with this huge meeting. And then the next month, or only a couple weeks later, then you have the election. So there's some huge things happening. A lot could happen from, not only just from here to October, November, but think about in the next 3 years where they're talking about a lot, it could outperform every metal in the next 3 years. Think about how far away 3 years is. So if you see silver sitting at $29 or $30.85, and you think in the next 3 years nothing is going to happen that could push silver up past 50 or past 100, then you're looking at this from a very minimal perspective. You have to remember how much happens in such a short amount of time, especially nowadays. Andy Sheckman calls it logarithmic decay, little by little by little, but it's also moving faster and faster and faster. That's why they say 90% of the movement happens the last 10% of the leg, and that's how it always does. It's just going to be something that the straw that breaks the camel's back is going to take off, and a lot of it is because this is man-made manipulation. This is not just a naturally rising metal that's growing in value over time. It's because this is suppressed. So once the COMEX corruption breaks through, once all the West suppression from the COMEX moves through the Shanghai, which now China and India are taking advantage of, which we can cover, it's starting to all unfold with these, especially with the naked shorts, and you're seeing all these other countries starting to take advantage of our prices. Now you're seeing silver premiums $4 higher on the Shanghai, and natural pricing is starting to occur because this is all a facade. There's nobody that truly believes silver's only worth $29.80 or $30.80. Like, does anyone watching this video actually believe that's naturally how much an ounce of silver should be valued as, especially compared to the dollar's worthlessness as it's lost 98% of its purchasing power? If someone says that silver is never going to break past anything or never hit 50 again, then that means you believe in the dollar. That means that you think the dollar will succeed, because the only way silver will not go higher is if the dollar succeeds. So you either think silver's going to succeed or the dollar will. They cannot exist together. It's either one or the other. There's a direct negative correlation. When the dollar index is low, silver's high, and gold. Vice versa. When the dollar index is high, silver's low. So the only way silver will stay around this $30 area, never do much, is if you truly think that, and honestly think that the dollar over the next 10, 15, 20 years will survive. We all know that's not possible. It's already lost 98% of its purchasing power. Every fiat-based system lasts only around a century. Every fiat-based system does collapse eventually. The dollar is the longest lasting one. It's because it is literally designed to fail. We're trying to get ourselves out of debt by replacing it with more debt. That's like trying to pay off a credit card with another credit card with another credit card, and it's caught up, and all the other countries around the world have known. Now Russia, they completely detached themselves from the dollar. Now we're in a situation where the US dollar is the world's reserve currency, isn't even really a thing anymore. And I'm sure with that October BRICS meeting, it's probably going to be a lot worse by then. So you can only think that either the dollar's going to survive and last or silver will. And nobody in the right mind could truly think the dollar's going to survive and come out on top and just become strong again. If you don't think that's going to happen, then that's proof right there that silver will come out on top. I mean, that's the most easy way to put it. Not even talking about the silver shortage, or how it's on the brink of extinction either. You throw that in the mix, and then you really see how much potential silver has. So India's gold and silver import surge from UAE sparks economic concerns. India's gold and silver imports have risen by 210% to $10.7 billion in 2023 to 2024, largely due to concessional custom duties under India's UAE Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement. This surge has raised concerns about tariff arbitrage and potential revenue losses, urging calls for policy revision. So this is from Mumbai. India's gold and silver imports from the UAE have skyrocketed by 210%, reaching 10.7 million from the fiscal year 23 to 24. The surge is attributed to the concessional customs duties granted under India UAE Comprehensive Economic. Yeah, we just mentioned that. The Global Trade Research Initiative highlighted that the import of these precious metals is driven by significant tariff concessions, allowing unlimited quantities of silver with a 7% tariff and 160 metric tons of gold with a 1% concession. The rise in imports has led to calls for revision these tariff concessions to manage the arbitrage. The Global Trade Research Initiative, or the GTRI, highlighted that the import of these precious metals is driven by significant tariff concessions, allowing unlimited quantities of silver with a 7% tariff. In addition, India's facilitation of private firms to import through the India International Bullion Exchange, or the IIBX, in Gift City has contributed to the increase. GTRI's founder, I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name, emphasized the need to lower tariffs and tighten regulations to prevent misuse, control revenue loss, and ensure fair compensation or for fair competition. Yeah, that's an interesting one. That came out 3 days ago, on June 17th. And I'm curious, I mean, just this alone, this is probably the main takeaway that really matters. India's gold and silver imports from the UAE have risen by 210%. Now, we know that India imported more silver the first 4 months of this year than the entirety of last year. 265% more from just the first 4 months. So we have all these countries in the BRICS, including Russia, and then you have China, which is now focusing on silver. You have all these countries now buying up all the silver and gold. But why? If it's not worth much, if it has no value, then why are all the biggest countries in the world, all the wealthiest people, all the central banks, all the billionaires, why are they all buying so much gold and silver if it's not worth it? It's like they know something that no one else does. It's like they know something's about to happen. And they do. And we do too. It's just that we don't have the behind the scoop information like they do, but at least we're aware of that silver is cheap. Most people don't have either pieces of information. They're not aware that silver is valuable and cheap. And they don't understand that the other, all these countries are doing this. At least we do, and we can be the ones that get in before the curve, while most people will be buying silver, stacking silver once it's already 50, 60, 70, 100 plus dollars. That's when most people will get on the boat after it's skyrocketed, after everyone else, talks about it, just like Bitcoin. Most people didn't start buying Bitcoin until after the skyrocket. We could be the ones that got in when Bitcoin was, 20 cents. Everyone goes back, man, I wish I got Bitcoin. I wish I knew about Bitcoin when it was 20 cents. Well, we know about silver while it's only $29. And it's much more valuable than that. And if you don't think so, then you either don't understand the dollar's true value or don't understand silver's true value, or both. Because if you understand the dollar's true value and you understand the inevitable collapse of the dollar, then you cannot say that silver will not come out on top, since they cannot exist together. They do opposite of each other. They do exact opposites. There's a direct negative correlation, which is also why silver is a threat to the dollar. That's also why you're going to see banks try to push stocks and things upon you that are detached, right? When you invest into precious metals, when you put that fake money into real money, you have taken the control away from them and put it into your own hands. Do you think the banks want you doing that? No. They want you investing into and having your dollars pegged to things that are with the dollar. But that's like switching seats in the Titanic, because when the dollar falls, everything else pegged to it will fall as well. That's why you need to detach yourself, like Elon Musk. I made a video about Elon Musk yesterday, how he was taking all of his assets, all of his money, and putting it into things that are detached from the US dollar. That's a smart move. That's why he did it with crypto and physical gold and silver mine and everything that has no duty with a centralized system. You know, that's a way to guarantee yourself that you will be safe when the fiat system falls. So anyways, I'm going to wrap this video up here. I have a couple more videos to make. I'm going to start uploading 2 videos a day, and I hope you guys enjoy and stick around. Thanks for tuning in. Remember, folks, subscribe, click the bell, because I post daily, and if you wanted a chance to purchase some silver wallets cheap, hit me up, slayer@milesfranklin.com, or call me 330-485-6172. This is Silver Slayer. I'll see you guys later. Peace.